News of the Week, a Christian news program delivering breaking news, views, and interviews.
Hello, my name is Grace Alalade. You are welcome to Testify TV News of the Week. The latest headlines. Bishops paid up to £27,000 for attending Parliament. Arson attack at church. Christians reach out to pagans at Stonehenge, and a devastated congregation pleads, bring back our vicar. Bishops in the House of Lords are claiming up to £27,000 a year in allowances for attending Westminster, on top of their annual stipends. The Bureau's investigation with The Independent has found that vastly different amounts are claimed by the 26 bishops who sit by right in the second chamber. The findings add to pressure to reform Parliament following the Bureau's other revelations about the House of Lords. Our correspondent, Tracy Ofiosi, has more on this story.
One bishop, known as a Lord Spiritual, is required to be in attendance and lead prayers on each day the House is sitting, but an analysis of the Lord's allowances reveals that some bishops are spending up to 2 weeks in every month in the Lords, sometimes claiming the maximum fixed allowance for attending sessions in the second chamber, while having full-time jobs in their dioceses. Others attend sessions in the House without making any claim on the public purse. According to recent analysis, a bishop attending a House on 97 days claimed £27,600 in attendance allowances and £7,309 in travel expenses. In contrast, another, the Bishop of Birmingham, attended on 22 occasions but claimed no money. Under current regulations, peers are allowed to claim a flat rate of either £300 or £150 to cover hotels and subsistence in London. Bishops can choose to attend on an ad hoc basis when matters of interest and concern to them are before it. However, they do not have to provide receipts and can also claim travel expenses. Now over to Grace for more news stories.
Setting a new standard in Christian publishing. Testify, an informative monthly newspaper packed full of inspirational stories, the latest Christian news and views, plus sport, events and more. Testify. Be encouraged in your faith and life. Available free to churches and community organizations. Call 020-8320-1144, 020-8320-1144, or search Testify newspaper. Testify.
An arson probe has been launched after flames tore through a church hall in Preston. Police confirmed the fire at the St Joseph's Parish Centre on Cemetery Road, Ribbleton, is being treated as suspicious after they found the back door had been kicked in. Firefighters tackled the blaze for more than 5 hours as it devastated the building. Father Frank Osman of St Joseph's Church said the building had suffered vandalism in the past. He said, "We've had problems with people stealing lead from the building and breaking windows, but never anything like this." Watch manager Gary Kiani of Preston Fire Station said he had considered evacuating the neighbouring primary school due to fears. He said, "We were fortunate that the wind was not blowing into the schools, so we just advised the teachers to keep the children inside and the same to people living nearby." The fire had been starved of oxygen, but still had a lot of fuel to keep it burning, which meant there was a real risk of backdraft. A neighbouring building used by a local Sea Cadets group was not damaged in the fire. Chatting to druids, witches, pagans and partygoers is all in a night's work for evangelist Jonathan Brain. Mr. Brain, who works with Christian charity Counties, joins thousands of pagans and druids at Stonehenge to share his faith with them. Informal chats with people, carrying a cross as well as prayers before the event and leaflet drops are just some of the ways he reaches out with the gospel at the event, which is significant for pagans and druids' religious ceremonies. Here is Tracy Ofiosi with more on this report.
The evangelist from Yarton Canal has visited the event for the last 12 years. He said it can be quite an intimidating place and there are corners of darkness, but the vast majority of people are very open to talking to me, and each year I have very interesting conversations. He said one Druid I met asked me lots of questions what I believed. He knew very little about Christianity and was quite open to what I had to say. We then became friends on Facebook and I regularly pray for him. He's not yet a Christian, but he still keeps in touch, asking me about spiritual matters. Mr. Bryant continued, sometimes it may only be a brief conversation with someone, but it spurs me to pray for that person. I once met an RE teacher who was also a practicing witch. She said she loved all the old hymns and asked me if we could sing her favourite hymn, Immortal Invisible, and we sang. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing there, but it's a great opportunity to meet some fantastic people, many of whom have never been exposed to the gospel. The question many Christians would ask is it wise to take the gospel to places that are demonically possessed? Can we really preach the gospel in an occult environment? Back to you, Grace.
Thank you, Tracy. And finally, a devastated congregation are calling for their vicar to be reinstated following more than a year of absence. Father Andrew Hawthorne has not been at St. George's Church since February last year following a number of incidents involving Christchurch's parochial church council and the diocese. Mr. Hawthorne was put on gardening leave until further notice, causing rumours to spread and raising concern among regular churchgoers. Tracy has the full report.
Disputes began in early 2011 when the congregation objected to St. George's Church being required to increase its contribution to parish funds by 95%, from £13,000 to £25,529. Parishioners asked Mr. Hawthorne to tell the parochial church council they would not pay. He did, and from then on, parishioners say things went from bad to worse, to the extent that Mr. Hawthorne became ill in March 2011, and following his recovery, was not permitted to return to his church. Some members of the congregation said this situation has become untenable. Under Mr. Hawthorne, parishioners say the junior church was flourishing and the congregation growing. He still attends services, but is not allowed to conduct or preach. Fellow churchgoer Juba added, for more than 15 months we have been deprived of Father Andrew's preaching. It's not just us that are suffering without him, but it's also so unfair on him. With Andrew, we're family. Mr. Hawthorne declined to comment due to the forthcoming grievance procedure. Tracy Ofiosi, Testify TV.
Now let's have a reminder of the headlines. Bishops paid up to £27,000 for attending Parliament. Arson attack at church. Christian reaches out to pagans at Stonehenge. And a devastated congregation pleads, bring back our vicar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Grace Olalade. On behalf of Testify TV, News of the Week, goodbye.